Alright, so welcome back to part 2 of drum error on your Brother MFC 9330, 9335, 9340 CDW printer. So you've done everything that's been laid out in part 1, but your machine is still saying drum error. The next things to check are the drums and toner cartridges. So if you followed every step in part 1 and your machine still says drum exclamation mark, you have quite a serious high voltage electrical problem with your printer. Now, the problem can be the result of one single solitary faulty drum unit, or the problem can be the result of non-genuine toner cartridges not being constructed properly. So the first step to check is you need to make sure that your green levers are locked back to the locking position. If your drum cleaning sliders are anywhere other than here, it will create a big line in that particular color in your prints and will cause the drum error. The next step is to check. In here is a tiny wire. It's called a corona charge wire. It's what carries the, I think about 2000 volt, 2 kilovolt charge to charge the drum. You need to grab each drum unit. Let's move the slider and see if you can see the wire that is in here. So here we can see, if I get a screwdriver, over here you can see the charge wire right there. See that? Now you need to follow that wire all the way up to the end, and you need to see if that wire is broken. So here, can we see it? So it might be a bit difficult to see on the video. Up here. So on this one, the wire is perfectly okay. See the wire there? If the wire is broken, that will cause your drum error. Likewise, if this wire has stuck to it any animal hair, dog hair, cat hair, human hair, if there is a tiny piece of hair stuck in this section, it short circuits the corona charge wire to what's called the grid underneath, and that will cause your drum exclamation mark error. So when the machine's running, normally you can get hairs, fibers that are just around your house if you like to reuse paper. So if you're one of these people that doesn't grab fresh paper from the ream, you're simply grabbing spare bits of paper from all over the house and stuffing it through the printer, you will be dragging animal hairs, carpet fibers, things like that through the printer, and they can make their way into this section of the printer and they will short circuit the charge that's carried by this wire in here. So check the wire on all 4 drum units. So there's a wire So on every single one of these there is a charge wire. check all of them to see if they're broken or if there's any fibers in there. If they're all intact and not broken, that eliminates that problem. Second issue, if you are using non-genuine toners, if you have any empty Brother toners lying around, even if they are empty, swap them over one by one, close the cover, and see if that gets you past your drum error. So a faulty non-genuine toner can cause this error. Okay, thirdly, if you live in a hot climate and you don't use your printer for a long period of time, or if you have put your printer in storage, and that storage is something like a shipping container, what can happen is the toner powder that's inside the cartridge, if the cartridge is subject to temperatures over 35 degrees, and obviously in a shipping container, the temperature inside a shipping container can quite quickly get to 50 degrees. If you put your belongings, including your printer, inside a shipping container as storage for several months, when you get back to your printer, the toner inside the cartridges will be baked solid. So the toner will no longer be a powder. Inside here you'll have tiny little rocks that have been created. So to test that, you grab the cartridge, you either get a flat blade screwdriver, or to make it really easy, you get some long nose pliers. You stick your long nose pliers in the drive gear for the toner cartridge and you turn it clockwise, like so. If you notice when you're trying to turn this gear clockwise that this gear does not turn easily, if you try to turn it and it just simply will not move, it is stuck, what you have to check to see is if the toner cartridge will actually come out. If you've put your machine in storage or in a hot car, the toner that's on the delivery roller here can actually bake to the drum, and you won't be able to pull the toner cartridge out because the toner cartridge will be melted to the drum unit. That will stop this gear from rotating. But if you have pulled the toner cartridge out of the drum unit and you have taken a pair of long nose pliers, stuck them in the toner cartridge and turned them clockwise, and you still can't turn this gear, then you know this cartridge has gone over 35 degrees for a prolonged period of time. The toner inside the cartridge has turned into a solid mass, so there's no longer toner powder in here, there is toner solid chunks. So this cartridge is stuffed, you might as well toss it away and go get a new cartridge and put it in the printer. But before you do that, look around for some empty toners, because that will tell you if the rest of the printer, even though the cartridges are empty, you can still put them in the printer and test the printer to see if it still works. So, some non-genuine toners also, when you turn them, are really quite stiff, like exceptionally stiff, and that's just simply because you have purchased junk compatible cartridges. They will also cause your drum error. So in this machine, we've got this all working and it's all good. Okay, what are we up to? Number 4. Number 4 is you need to check to see if the drum levers are broken. So what happens when the machine's doing its printing is it pushes on these little levers here. So if we can see that in focus, this little lever, these little levers can crack. So when you push on this, it pushes the toner cartridge back, like so. Same on the other side. You have one here, and that pushes it back like so. Now, poor quality toner cartridges that haven't been constructed properly will break this little lever. So if you find that you're doing this and the lever is flexing, then it's a sign that there is a crack in the plastic, and that will also cause your drum error. Alright, so what are we up to now? I think number 5. So all the while you're checking all these things on all 4 drum units, you're opening and closing the cover and letting the machine test to see if it's passed the test and you've overcome the error. So part 5, number 5 step. You pull, your printer still isn't working. You pull your toner cartridge out, you get your drum unit and you blow it out clean. You blow all over it, clean it all up. You do not touch the surface of the drum with your fingers if possible. Do not touch it with a damp chucks, only a dry cloth. The red drum is sensitive to daylight, so you want to keep this drum out of direct sunlight. Direct sunlight will instantly ruin this drum unit and you will have to buy new drum units. So, next step, you've done everything. We're going to clean the drum units out. You may have quite a large buildup of toner. You can see this one has got quite large amounts of just sprayed over toner, overspray everywhere. So what we're going to do next is, if you're a lucky person and you have an air compressor, let's go out to your air compressor. Okay, so me being me, I've got an air compressor, we've got our drum unit, and it's simply a case of just blowing the drum unit out. Now in particular, we want to blow into the charge grid in here to get any stray toner that may have accumulated in the charge grid out. You want to get right into everything and just blow everything out. Okay, so we want to rotate just from the edges. We rotate the drum a little bit and then do it again. So as we're rotating it, the cleaning roller inside down here, you can see this one's yellow, it's coated in yellow. We're just rotating it ever so slightly so that we can get the other side of the cleaning roller. And we're just blowing it out. Alright, so we've blown the all 4 of the drum units out. We put everything back together. So everything is blown out and clean. Now, if you don't own an air compressor to do that job, you can simply get a straw and use a straw blowing onto the drum units. The other thing you can do is take your drum units, head up to your local service station where you go to fill your tires up on your car. And instead of filling the tires up on your car, use that air gun to clean out your drum units. As it's the same thing, it's just simply it's someone else's air compressor, and it's there provided as a courtesy at most service stations. And it's a quick, easy way for you to get your hands on some compressed air and blow the drum units out up at your local servo. Following that, the next step is you take a rag. This probably should have been in video 1, but anyway, we take the rag and we clean the LED print heads. So these are the LED print heads. This is what shines light down here onto the surface of your red drum to form the printed image. You simply take this and clean each 4 of these LED heads. It's all about just making everything spotlessly clean. So that is pretty much the extent of everything a home user can do to solve their drum exclamation mark error. If your printer still doesn't work after doing this, you need to find a good printer technician in your local area. If you're in the Brisbane or Gold Coast area, we will come out on site and do this for you. Give us a call, head over to my website fixitfastelectronics.com. If you're other places in the world, ring around. It's just simply a matter of finding a good printer technician, and unfortunately I'm finding from emails that I get from people around the world, there's just simply not enough good printer technicians. Everyone just wants to flog you a new printer when it's completely unnecessary. What else? That's about it, I think. Yeah, non-genuine toners, particularly the variety that are being sold online by specific online cartridge selling companies, are causing 90% of these types of problems with these printers. When you find a good printer technician that also sells printer cartridges, he should be selling some pretty good cartridges that will sort this issue out and prevent it from occurring. Alright, that's about it for part 2. We've reached our limit of what we can do. Yep, so hit me up if you're in the local area and you have got this problem. We can come out and fix it for you. Thanks for watching.